Hello? If everyone could please take a seat, we are going to begin shortly.
There's a few stragglers. Yeah. Put it down. Can I? That's fine. Should we just start?
Wait till.
Okay. Another 20 seconds. I need to go. You got this. Should I just start talking? Okay.
Stop.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. Give him a second. To celebrate the life of Cardin Michael Sheldon Davis, beloved son, grandson, brother. That's quick. Uncle, nephew, cousin, teammate, and friend gone too soon. My name's Elspeth, and this is Caitlin. We're friends of Cardin's dating back to elementary school and have both spent countless hours battling it out on the soccer field.
To which Cardin always kicked our butts.
Always.
We would now like to take a moment to go over the scheduled events for today's celebration, as well as a little housekeeping. If you haven't already, please make sure to sign the guest book in the front foyer, as well as take a magnet keepsake to commemorate Cardin. For those of you who didn't go to high school here, the restrooms are also at the entrance. There will be time to share memories after the family has spoken, followed by a slideshow, a moment of reflection, and a final toast for Cardin. Afterwards, there'll be time to mingle, as well as refreshments to fuel you up for barefoot scrimmage down on the lower field. This evening at 7:30, there will be a bonfire at Kathy and Mike's, BYOB and chair. There is parking at Kathy and Mike's, the neighbor's lawn, and across the street in the Driftwood parking lot.
We'd like to now welcome Kathy, Mike, Casey, and Tyler to light a candle and begin the ceremony with a pregame prayer from Cardin's Trinity Western Days.
Dear Heavenly Father, help us to play hard, to be classy and aggressive, to never lose heart, to struggle and emerge, and to have no regrets. Protect us from injury, help us pay for team, and pray for you. For TWU and your glory. Amen.
Cardin's passing has had a profound effect on many people, evident from the multitude of messages Kathy and Mike received from around the world. These messages attest to the impact Cardin had on people's lives. Among the numerous tributes, one recurring theme emerges: Cardin's radiant personality, his infectious laughter, his inherent kindness, his silly humor, and his athletic prowess. His impact was extensive. Below are just a few examples of the many heartfelt tributes Kathy and Mike have received.
From Cardin's cousin, Morgan. I am so sorry to hear about the loss of Cardin. Please know that so many people are grieving this profound sorrow. He meant so much to so many people, and that he impacts us with his humor and charm and kindness. Cardin truly always lit up any room he graced. I have such good memories of childhood adventures with Cardin, from him breaking my patella to climbing the Ogopogo to cracking up the kids' table. I know we unfortunately went too long without seeing each other, but it was so great to catch up at our visit last year, especially hearing all about all he was accomplishing with his business. I can't imagine how difficult this time is for you all. I am sending you all my love until I can hug you. You have always shown such love and hospitality to your family and community. Please know that I and so many others are always available to support you in whatever way you need.
For all the gang, I'll say it at the end. I don't have much to say that hasn't been said to you in this difficult time. I just want to say I have nothing but endless wholesome memories of and with Cardin that I'm so grateful to have. I remember him as Kirby's cool friend, then I got to be in his class. Just remembered that he was there when I had my first and horrible French kiss at Horn Lake. Then I was eventually lucky enough to become good buds later on. Fuck, he made me laugh all the time and always had something to bullshit about ripping around in that red truck all summer. His giggly laugh is stuck in my head right now. I fucking love that guy, and I love your family. I wish I could be there for you all in person, but I'll send what I can in this letter. I'll come by the house for a visit when I'm there in the summer. All my love, Stu. P.S. Sorry for the swearing. Wouldn't have felt fucking right without it.
The next one is a message from a neighbor of Cardin's, and it's referring to the post of Cardin's passing. I saw this post shared by a mutual friend and realized that it was the sweet neighbor who helped me get my car dug out of the snow when I got it stuck on Corbett this winter. He dug me out and then waited on the road with his shovel to make sure I got back after turning around safely in the country grocery parking lot. I was really struck by his kindness. As I stopped to thank him, another car swerved past us, and the driver made an angry face, and we both cracked up. Then I saw him again a few weeks later in the grocery store, and we had another lovely interaction. I only met him those 2 times, and I feel sad I'll never get to see him again. And I'm sure that's nothing in comparison to the magnitude of grief his loved ones must be feeling. I am so sorry for your loss. I could tell he was a special soul.
This is from Alex. I still remember my last visit so vividly and how much fun we had laughing about millions of wonderful memories. All you made me feel like home again immediately, and Cardin was instantly the same incredible, amiable, big host brother again. I am more than sorry and can only tell you that I send you all my love and strength.
At this time, we would like to invite the immediate family members up to speak. And the first one is Daddy-O, Big Chief, Cardi's dad, Mike.
So what am I supposed to do? Picture everybody naked? Does that help? God. Okay. Don't want to be here, but welcome everyone. We would like to thank everyone that has come together for this celebration of Cardin's life. I would like to thank the people who have traveled from back east, USA, Vancouver Island, Vancouver, and other locations far and wide. We would also like to thank all the people who are joining us via streaming from Japan, Ireland, Switzerland, Germany, and Brazil. I would have preferred to be standing here giving a speech about Cardin and his wedding rather than here. Cardin would be so amazed and speechless and maybe a bit embarrassed by all this attention. He never liked to be in any spotlight unless he was taking the final PK in a shootout for the win. Just look around, Cardin. It's awesome. Everybody wants to be here to show their love, their respect and support for you. It is pretty amazing, I think. Anybody that knows Cardin would know that his life basically revolved around soccer. He loved the game, he loved talking about the game, he loved watching the game, and he loved giving a certain Liverpool fan the gears whether in person or by text. I think he knows who that is. He was always calling me up to record a game that was playing at lunchtime because he was at work. Sometimes I could and sometimes I couldn't. Cardin's soccer career started in U6. He was a year too young, but they were short a coach, so obviously I said yes to coaching the team. It was a big day for Kathy and myself, and we thought Cardin too, for the first game of the season. He was so cute in his cleats, shin guards, and uniform. After his first game when we got home, he informed us that he really didn't like soccer, and he didn't want to play anymore. God, I remember that. So I thought, oh great, here I am the coach, and my son doesn't want to play. But then each game was always a chore to get him to go to the game, trying to get him dressed up, get him all excited to go. And we finally got him there to every game, but it was a chore. And then about halfway through the season, everything changed. It was as if somebody turned on a light switch. It was like night and day. He was running after the ball, he wanted the ball, and he wanted to score goals. He was on fire. Cardin played on Salt Spring from U6 to U12 in soccer. I was a coach for each and every one of those years. I was his number one coach or best coach during that time. Then he was noticed and he tried out for a Metro team over in Victoria. He was 2 years younger, but made the team. So there I was dropped down to the second best coach. Thanks, Cuddy. I don't know if he's here. After that, it was provincial teams, U14 to U16, and then came the national team and the Whitecaps youth team. With each level that Cardin progressed up higher, I dropped down a notch. So Cardin's going up and I'm going down. However, not too long ago, he told me that I introduced the fundamentals of soccer to him when he was little, and the shuttle runs that I made the team do in those early years. Stuart would probably remember those. He said shuttle runs were a staple of training for years to come, and he recently had been doing them to get in shape to play with Tyler in the Maylong next weekend. He was probably telling me the truth or possibly lying because he didn't want to hurt my feelings. Either way, it didn't matter because I was always so proud of him. I have to mention that the best time I ever had on the pitch was when I played a Div 1 Salt Spring team game with Tyler and Cardin. It was such an amazing experience. Okay, it is hard to describe. I still get that feeling now when I think back on it. It was such a proud and happy memory for me. After the game, I don't think a beer ever tasted so good as it did at that game. I was so happy when he made the national team, mostly because all the expenses were finally paid. We didn't have to fork out our wallet anymore. He loved practicing with and watching my team, the Salt Spring Old Boys. I'm not sure why, but they always held a special place in his heart. Maybe because he could outrun us all. I don't know.
Good attitude.
Cardin was committed to everything, not just soccer, but to everything. If he had a job, he did it right and finished it. Being a landscaper, weeds bothered him badly. He'd be sitting at home outside, maybe having a drink, and if he saw a weed sticking out of the pavers 20 feet away, he'd go over and yank it out. He would say, "There, that one was bothering me." I'm not saying he was always 100% dedicated to chores we asked him to do. Sometimes he would say to me, "Dad, would you like me to mow the lawn today?" And I would say, "Sure, that'd be awesome." And then later that day, I'd ask him when he'd be mowing the lawn and would say one of his favorite sayings, "The day is not over yet, Dad." But then I would look at my watch and it's 8:30 at night. So yeah, it's pretty much over. Cardin was an inspiration to me for soccer. There's a clip on YouTube from the GASS soccer team's road to provincials in 2008. They won 6-0, and Cardin scored 3 goals and assisted on the 4th. I would watch that clip before every one of my own games to inspire me. I didn't score any more goals, but I felt good. It is still my inspiration, but now it brings tears to my eyes. But then a smile as well. I would always say, "That's my boy." To sum up the life of Cardin is impossible. How do you condense 34 years in a speech? As much as Cardin loved soccer, he always put his family first. He loved every holiday, every get-together, every Grey Cup and Super Bowl party. He just loved to be with family. Last page. All I can say is that I love him, I miss him badly, and I wish he was here playing in the Maylong with his brother. I would trade places with him in a heartbeat. You never know what is around the corner or what can happen tomorrow or the next week. So please remember that everybody that you hold dear in your heart, appreciate them and love them, and always remember to tell them that. Love you, miss you, Cardi.
Big Tyrone, big brother Tyler.
Sorry. Hi, Sappy. Are you coming up here to support me? Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming. As many of you know, I'm not great with words. As being a CPA, emotions don't come naturally to me, but apparently I'm finding out that they do. My initial speech is actually going to be done in Excel and spreadsheets, but all kidding aside, though. Today, we don't mourn the loss of a life. We celebrate the adventures, soccer camaraderie, and endless laughter that define the life of my younger brother, whose soul touched many a people. From the moment Cardin entered this world, it was clear he was determined to keep life interesting for us as a family. Like the time he convinced me that giving him my laptop that didn't work would help him with getting a school project extension. Spoiler alert, it didn't. And I'm pretty sure he didn't pass that university course. Or my favorite Big Brother memory out of the very many that we've had, and I'm not sure if Zoltan's here, but many of the soccer people will know. Cardin and I played it on Gordon Head together, or what's now called Tennis Fusion. And one of our best games was against the Salt Spring Island team. And on this fateful day, Zolt had a bad tackle on Cardin, and I sprinted probably halfway across the field, and what I felt like was a gentle push. Apparently it wasn't. And it probably got a red card, a hearing with the VSL, and I think it was a 6 or 8 game suspension. But hey, I was protecting my younger brother, and I'd do it 1,000 times over. My brother had a heart of gold, and he was the first to lend a helping hand. Card's infectious laughter could brighten the darkest days, and his biggest quality is he could genuinely connect with people. And judging from how many people are here to celebrate his life, that is very apparent. As your older brother, I'm going to miss the man you are becoming and grieve the potential life you could have lived. Especially our many recent talks of you wanting a family and kids in the near future and having cousins for Annie, Savvy, and Mally. But you just hadn't found the right person yet. To me, being an uncle in the way you were to me and Case's girls, I would have loved to have had the chance to see you as a dad. Though Cardin may have left us too soon, his spirit lives on in the memories we share. So after the service, or even right now, let's raise a glass or two or three, knowing him, to a life well lived, and a brother, son, and uncle, and a friend who is deeply loved with a legacy of laughter. To my dear little brother, and as Annie would say, Uncle Chicken, may your adventures continue in the great beyond, and you may always find humor in life's wild ride. Thank you.
Cardi's favorite aunt, aka Auntie Nance, and Kendall, aka Kenny, his cousin who was like a little sister to him.
Thank you so much to everyone who is here with us today to remember and celebrate the beautiful yet terribly short life of my amazing cousin Cardin. I know he would be immensely proud of the community that has come together with so much love and support. My name is Kendall. Many of you may know me as the little blonde girl running around Kathy and Mike's back in the day, most likely chasing Cardin. This is my beautiful mom, Nancy, who is Kathy's youngest sister, or as I like to say, her twin flame. I will allow my mom to take over and speak first.
Okay. It's really hard. Our lives are full of stories, and Cardin had many amazing ones in his short life. I have a couple to share. When the kids were little, Kathy's kids, Roy and I gave Kathy and Mike a break and babysat the kids for a weekend while they had a time away at a B&B. We took them to Shawnigan Lake to tire them out and successfully did so with kneeboarding and skiing and tubing and swimming. So we thought, great, we'll have tired kids, for the night. And we're halfway down the Malahat, and out of the back came this cry from Cardin. He's, "Where's my blue blanket?" And we're like, "Blue blanket?" Well, I said, "It's in the back." And so I got Casey and Tyler to look for the blanket. I don't know if you remember this, but there was no blanket. Well, then the cry out turned into wailing and crying, and basically just, it was so sad that we had to go turn around. But on the Malahat, I don't know if you know it, you can't turn around on the Malahat. So we had to go all the way to the bottom and turn around. But it was, he got his blue blankie, and it was worth it, because best of all, we got to see Cardin's smiley, happy face again. And my last story was when Cardin was in grade, I think 10 or 11. I asked him if he had any thoughts on his career and choices. He said, "Well, Auntie Nancy, I'm going to be a lawyer." And I said, "Wow, that's great, Cardin." And I said, "Can I ask you why? Why you want to be a lawyer?" And he said, "Well, that's easy. So I can dress up, wear suits every day, and have a briefcase." And I said, no word of a lie, that was amazing. And so I said, "Okay, do you have any other reasons?" And he said, "No." So Cardin. So anyways, those are pretty fond memories, but they're just two of the many, many memories with Cardin that I will hold and cherish for the rest of my life. I miss him. He was such a joy to be around. He always made me laugh. He was so kind and always got me no matter what, and always had my back. Anyways, I love you, Cardin. I hope you're having fun up there.
There we go. Thank you, Mom. Cardin was one of my favorite people that I ever had the pleasure of knowing. He was more than just a cousin to me. He was one of my best friends, a big brother, someone I've looked up to and admired since I can remember, and one of my biggest supporters, someone who has impacted my life greatly. A world without Cardin's infectious smile and laugh is one I can't quite imagine. He was always the one to make everyone smile and come together. It was something that was just part of who he was. Since the day I was born, Cardin and I had a very special connection, one that was strong and never broke. Even now, I still feel him with me in a way that almost feels even more powerful. Cardin stood by my side through everything, my highest highs, my lowest lows. He always wanted me to feel safe and know that he had my back through anything. Except maybe when I quit soccer for hockey when I was young. He never let me live that one down and would still bug me about it every single time I saw him, even until the last time. Him and I loved to tease one another. Some of his favorite words for me and many others were dink, lahoozer, and definitely stinker while he was probably covering his nose like this. When I think of Cardin, I think of his immaculate soccer skills, his fresh sense of style, his love for animals, especially dogs, whether it was Doug and Frankie, my family's dogs Lily and Bella, my dog Lilo, and I'm sure many, many more. I think of him being the life of the party and dancing until we couldn't stand, of us staying up late and talking about anything and everything together, but more importantly, laughing until we could hardly breathe. His presence on our beautiful earth will be greatly missed by many. When I was a young kid, Cardin, myself, and my brother Sean were sitting on the stairs in Kathy and Mike's kitchen. I was wearing shorts as it was a hot summer day. Cardin pointed out my birthmark on my left inner thigh and asked me, "What's that?" I was young, so I didn't quite know the answer. And he then pointed at it and said, "It's a pea spot." Kendall has a pea spot. I started to get upset and say, "No, I don't. No, I don't. It's not a pea spot." My mom saw that I was getting upset and came over to tell Cardi it was just a birthmark. And Cardin proceeded to respond to my mom by saying, "Nope, it's a pea spot, Auntie Nancy," of course, with all the sass he could come up with. I could say a million more words about who Cardin was to me, but I want to end off on a bit of a funny note. In February, we all came together to celebrate the life of my Nana. After the service, we were all mingling and sharing stories about her life. Cardin walked up to my boyfriend and said, "Funerals are so fucking awkward. Can we just start making jokes now?" So in Cardin's honor, remember to laugh today. He would want us to be together smiling, celebrating, and of course, dancing our asses off together. Thank you.
She, brother-in-law, the brother-in-law he looked up to, and Cassia, aka Chica, big sister, and his mentor.
Johnson, 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 Johnson.
That was the Johnson Johnson, in case you guys didn't know. Well, you guys all have a new dance move in your repertoire, and I expect you to use it and think of Cardin and myself when you do. Cardin and I perfected that dance, and for about a year, we would greet each other with the Johnson Johnson, and it annoyed the hell out of everyone, but we did it anyways, because that's what we did. It was the stupidest shit like that that really brought us the closest together. And I never expected that I would share it with all of you people today, so please use it in our honor. Many people know that Cardin and I had a special bond since before he was born, actually, because I was the one who named him. When he finally came bursting into this world, making us wait 6 long days after his due date, he became not only my little bro, but my baby too. I always felt the natural urge to protect him and take care of him. As we all grew up, it soon became mine and Ty's duty to ensure that Cardin got to school on time. And let me tell you, I can't even begin to tell you how many times he got in trouble for getting to school late, all because Cardin was taking his sweet ass time in the morning. Not only because he liked to sleep in and laze around and lounge, but because he liked to show up looking good and smelling good too. He always had his eye out for the girls, even from a young age. And let me tell you, after talking to the girls, they had a thing for him too. Our bond was deep and was further solidified by our countless hours spent together while my parents schlepped us to Tyler's hockey all over the place. And whether I liked it or not, I was Cardin's babysitter. I can't remember exactly when he got the name Stinker, but it was for good reason, because he could be such a little punk. Forever the escape artist. If you turned your head for 1 second, he was gone. But he could always get away with it, with such charisma and charm, that little glint in his beautiful green eyes, and that wild, cheeky grin. Even though we were 6 years apart, as we grew up, we continued to grow closer, and I was often his confidant. And he was the person that could always crack a joke and get me to remember to not take life so serious, because I was the serious one. Oftentimes, when I'd find myself feeling hardened and contracted, Cardin easily and effortlessly would always know how to break through the cracks in my shell and let my light shine out. And he could do it instantly before I had even realized how much of a hardened bitch I was being. He had that innate ability to bring out the best in me and the silliest in me. And for that, I'm so grateful. We had so many fun times together and so many hilarious times too. Like how he helped me hone my skills as the family hairdresser. I don't know why, but when he was 7 and I was 13, he let me shave a number 7 to the back of his mushroom cut. And you guys could imagine what it looked like. It wasn't a good look. That horrific haircut took him months and months to grow out. And he didn't ask me to cut his hair again for a long time, until I had lots of practice on other people. I think it was like 25 years later when I moved back to Salt Spring, and he bravely jumped into my hair chair again. We also shared a love for music and dancing, as you can tell. And some of my favorite music memories were at Squamish Music Fest, riding on his shoulders, doing the party train through like thousands of people. Other naughty things I'm not going to share here. Maybe around the party later. I have the best memories dancing all night with Cardin at mine and Sheehan's wedding, and really just all the dancing we did in our parents' kitchen or gazebo when the song hit just right. Many of you people were there. He was such a great dancer. Cardin, I can still feel your hand in mine, twirling me around. Thank you for those memories. When remembering back over the full life of Cardin, a couple of other memories stand out. Always an empath, he was 6 years old when I broke my leg pretty badly. And when I got home from the hospital, I was laid up on the couch. My parents were there trying to comfort me and console me when Cardin had disappeared yet again. Like, that's what they need. So they go about looking for Cardin, and he's just in the dark in the kitchen, and he's on the phone. So Mom was like, "What are you doing?" And she goes and takes the phone from him. And he had called 911, and he said, "You better come help my sister. She's in a lot of pain." He was so worried about me because that's the kind of heart that he had even as a little kid. His heart was so big, and he cared about his people so much. And finally, I can't recount our memorable moments without sharing a particularly memorable day back in, I think, 2014 with a certain special group of wild party animals, with Cardin and I getting a police escort back through Montague Harbor on a Sea-Doo, back to shore for something we didn't do. And Brandon, I know you're out there listening somewhere. I'm just going to leave it at that. When I had cancer, Cardin had unwavering faith in me, and even though some of my choices were quite unconventional, he was always cheering me on through it all. He was the only one I let shave their head with me, and for a moment in time, we were buzzed together. He was so proud of me for kicking cancer's butt, and although he wasn't on social media much, every year he would share the anniversary of me kicking cancer's butt, and he would say how proud he was of me. Come to think of it, he was my champion in everything I did. He always believed in me and lifted me up through whatever life's adventures brought my way. He would listen to me dream, and then he would buy my macrame or my bracelets or whatever things I was trying to sell. He would listen to me dream. He would tell me I was a superstar, and when I was feeling down, he would pump me up, saying things like, "You're so special. There's not many people like you." He was always there rooting me on, and he so badly wanted me to play soccer again, which annoyed the hell out of me because he would not ever drop it. And he would say, "But yeah, you're so good. So no expectations on the pitch later, guys, okay?" But what a compliment that was, coming from someone with so much talent. Looking back now, I know it was because he was so proud of me and he really just liked cheering for me. Cardin was such an amazing uncle, and it was such a joy to be so close to see him in that role. And I'm so grateful for all the time that we got with him and Savannah and Malika. When Savannah was around 4 months old, I had an appointment, and Cardin was on uncle duty. And he was, I could tell, pretty nervous because it was his first time, just Savannah and him. But I knew he would be fine. So about an hour later, I come bouncing back up to the house, and Cardin's just sitting there with this most beautiful grin on his face. And he was so proud of himself because she was starting to get cranky, and he had just rocked her and shushed her to sleep. I was so looking forward to him in the role of a dad. I was so proud of him in that moment, and so many countless others with my girls. It felt like a no-brainer to see him as dad because he absolutely loved kids and was such a natural. And watching him with my girls are some of my favorite memories of all time. I'm so honored that his spirit lives on in them. Savannah is so kind and compassionate. She's such an empath. And she also shares the nickname Stinker for good reason. And Malika has that same lighthearted comedic way and little glint in her eye and little mischievous grin. So Cardin, if you're out there listening somewhere, I'll never be able to thank you for the 34 years of memory shared, for making me a big sister, for some of the absolute best times in my life, some of the hardest times and everything in between. I miss you more than I ever knew was possible. I love you forever, my Cardino Bambino.
I was supposed to go first. And forgive me, this isn't polished whatsoever. I remember the first time Casey took me home for dinner, that is. It was after school 23 years ago. We were 17. Little Cardi was 11. Just a cheeky grinned lad with frosted tips. That was my first time meeting Cardin and realizing it was his world and we were all just living in it. I was warmly welcomed by Kathy, mostly ignored by Mike. And whatever to Cardin. Luckily, Tyler had just moved out to begin his 10-year bachelor's degree at Camosun. I didn't have Cardin's respect immediately. It took some shooting hoops in the driveway, cracking some jokes, sharing our affinity for his sister, and staying out of their dance parties. I remember fondly the first time watching Card play sports. It wasn't soccer, but a middle school basketball game where him and Bobby Byron were running game in the Sims gym. It wasn't long before I became another fanboy and was tagging along to watch him play soccer off island. Truth be told, I was in it for the Mustang rides and A&W. Thanks, Kathy. Cardin was very proficient on the pitch, as we all know, and in his social life. So proficient that he could kill two birds with one stone by going over to the Gerard twins to hang with his best friend Jordan and see his girlfriend Caitlin at the same time. This always baffled me, but I thought it was pretty cool to have that special bond with a family. He had a good group of friends and was always making new ones, and I was lucky to call his friends mine as well. Our relationship grew over family dinners and holidays, him waxing me on Xbox games, sibling shenanigans, and hosting him in Victoria for soccer and taking him under our wing to experience the best of Victoria nightlife. After 10 years dating Casey, it seemed time, or as everyone put it, long overdue, to ask for Casey's hand in marriage. I recall receiving some family shade as I regrettably didn't ask Mike for his blessing. The timing just didn't allow for this. And so I forged ahead. Cardin's feathers seemed ruffled the most by this. And secretly, I think he wanted to be the one to grant the family blessing. He managed to get over it and agreed to MC in our wedding with my sister Megan. Although apprehensive, he overcame this, and his comedic side shone through beautifully. It took courage for him to stand up there, and Casey and I were very proud of him for this. But Cardin, being the doting brother, may have been the proudest person there. I'm grateful for all the memories we have shared over the years. Real talks over coffee and hysterical bullshitting around the dinner table. Watching games on the lawn, watching him play soccer, especially on Maylong. One of the more memorable memories is when we were camping at Lake Cowichan and we were tubing down the river. Cardin was so excited. I think he might have bought glass bottles as well, but he had his paddles in his little, Explorer 100. I think he didn't splurge for the 200, as Tyler taught him. There's no value in that. So he gets his paddles in there and he's ready and his beer in there and he hops in on his butt and pop. Boat's flat. I forget what happened after that, but he made it down. Water skiing or not, we were out Montague. This is the same trip with the jet ski. We were being a little bit rowdy in Montague. I was really trying hard to get him up on Leaf's boat, and knowing he was an athlete, I didn't give up. I didn't give him the opportunity to quit on me, even after many failed attempts. He ended up drinking a lot of seawater and losing his adored wooden sunglasses in the process. He was flustered, but took it in stride. With this and other experiences, he showed me to always laugh and joke, even when you're mad or frustrated. Some of the things I'll remember him for is Cardin loved and lived for his family. He adored animals, especially our dog Manny, looked after him many times, kissed him on the mouth way too many times. Fun-loving uncle to his nieces, which he will be so surely missed. He was loyal to a fault and a fierce protector of his loved ones, and I'm honored to be part of this family and part of Cardin's life. He's a bright spirit, sparking through our galaxy in the human form, and I look forward to seeing him again and hearing his laugh. Until we meet again, Cardi.
Okay. Cardi's proud and loving Mamacita, aka Kaz.
Speech. You gonna stay up here with me? Okay. For those who do not know me, my name is Kathy, proud and loving mother to our beautiful son, Cardin. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, whether in person or online, to attend this celebration of life for our amazing boy. The outpouring of love for Cardin and the incredible support for us as a family is a testament to the significant impact he had on, thank you, sweetheart, he had on people that came into his life for a little or for always. There are no words to express how very thankful we are for all the people who have worked so hard to put Cardi's big party together. It took a village. And for all the wonderful messages, plants, gifts, flowers, tributes, memories, the amazing food to nourish our souls, and all the love and laughter. A huge thank you especially to our amazing daughter, Casey, who's been a rock star and main conduit communication point through all of this. Thanks, Case. I usually pride myself in being able to write speeches and heartfelt messages, but I've had so much difficulty with this one. I just didn't want to, as the memories are too fresh, too many, and it's just too painful. I felt that I could not get across or do justice to how wonderful Cardin was in so many ways. How can I possibly sum up Cardin's 34 years in such a short time to even hint at the amazing, beautiful, kind, compassionate, hilarious person he was? It's almost impossible, but I will try to give you a small glimpse into the person that was Cardin. Hope you brought your sleeping bags and pillows or plan on missing the last ferry tonight. Because there's a lot of pages here.
In a minute, you can. Okay, Cardin was born January 16th, 1990 at 10:12 p.m. by C-section in Victoria. He was 6 days late, which then became a bit of a theme throughout his life. Always just a little late, not a lot late, but always just a little. Always rushing out the door to ferries, soccer, school, work, etc. I'd say, Cardin, I'm not the one playing soccer. Why am I rushing to get you out the door? We were completely bonded and intertwined. I was his person, his cheerleader, and he was always my number one fan and champion. He was my baby. He would always tell me how beautiful I was, how young I looked, and how much he loved me. He always said, love you forever. He called me his queen. He always knew how to lift me up. He said to me when he was little, don't worry, Mom, I'll still hold your hand even when I'm in grade 9. He was a self-professed mama's boy. However, he did say on occasion, first chance I get, I'm putting you in a home. And then give the biggest chuckle. Sure. Cardin exuded love and compassion. Yes, go ahead. Cardin was not only a little brother to Tyler and Casey, but he was a little brother to so many others. He was the most fun uncle and lit up whenever he played with his nieces or when they threw their arms around him and said, I love you, Uncle Cardi. He was truly the biggest kid at heart. He loved to play hide and seek and would make a plock, plock noise every once in a while so they could find him, hence his nickname, Uncle Chicken. He absolutely loved kids and so wanted to be a dad. He would have been the best dad ever. He was also a passionate animal lover and dog whisperer. Our dogs, Frankie and Doug, gravitated to him and oh, thank you, that'll make me feel so much better. And our dogs, Frankie and Doug, gravitated to him and totally ditched us for him whenever he came over. He always had dog treats with him to give to his clients' dogs, which he loved, and he often took Frankie for sleepovers. Cardin had many incredible qualities which have been echoed not only in the speeches, but in the many messages and tributes to him we have received. So I'll speak to a few of them. Athleticism and modesty. Cardin was very athletic from a young age and excelled in all sports he played, but soccer became his passion. He played 2 years up on a metro team from the age of 12, traveling off-island twice per week and off-island to games or tournaments every weekend. It was a lot and required a lot of commitment. One day he was catching the ferry back to Fulford from Swartz Bay, but they switched the ferries, and the one that normally went to Salt Spring changed the outer Gulf Islands. And he got on it by accident as it looked the same. All of a sudden he realized that and called me and said, Mom, I think I'm on the wrong ferry. Trying to control my panic, I said, you need to find a ferry worker and give the phone to them. He found one and said, my mom wants to talk to you. And the ferry worker said, why would your mom want to talk to me? And he said, because I'm on the wrong ferry. And then they sprang into action. Long story short, he had to wait on Galliano in the dark until the Long Harbor ferry came and brought him home late at night. I was on the phone with him the whole time. He was selected for the BC provincial team, Whitecaps youth team, as well as the U15 Canadian youth national team, and helped the high school team reach the provincial championships. He was offered a number of scholarships to universities, but ultimately chose Trinity Western, where they made it to the national championships each year he played. He traveled to many different countries internationally with these teams, but the place he most loved to play was on Salt Spring. Every year he looked forward to playing in Maylong and the reunion and fun times to be had. He was so looking forward to playing with his big brother on the Castaways team this year at Maylong. If there was a penalty shootout, he always wanted to be the fifth shooter. So much pressure, but he loved it. I could never watch him shoot in a PK and would turn my head and wait for the cheers when he scored. With all that accomplishment, he was a very modest person, never cocky, always inclusive, and exhibited the utmost sportsmanship. Who invited Tyler? He would pass to someone who was open rather than shoot himself, and I'd be shouting, "What are you doing?" or shoot. He always included everyone regardless of ability. On his Gulf Island secondary intramural soccer team, there was a boy with a walker, and he played goal, and Cardin would pass the ball back to him, and the team fully included him in each game. They won the whole tournament, and this boy told Cardin that it was the highlight of his high school experience. charismatic, mischievous, and hilarious. With those sparkly green eyes, dimples, and cheeky grin, Cardin could pretty much get away with anything. His sense of humor and sarcasm were always on point, and his laughter was infectious and filled a room. He would crack up at the slightest little thing. He loved to dish it out, but could take it too. He was always the life of the party. He made the funniest faces, jokes, and poses. His best man speech at Tyler's wedding was so funny that people came up and shook his hand after. He was super proud of that. There are many hilarious stories we have, but here are a few highlights, and I did take some out, okay? Just don't worry. So Cardin was about 3, and we were all at Granville Market eating pie, and all of a sudden he started to run away. I started chasing him, and as he was running, he was shouting, "She's not my mother!" With a huge grin on his face. I thought someone was going to call the police. Real funny, Cardin. And a couple more little stories. The neighbors had 3 boys, and one was 1 year older than Cardin, and the other was 1 year younger. And they would alternate playing at our house and Cardin at theirs pretty much every day. Cardin came home one day when he was 5 and told me that they had gone into Grant's beer fridge and each took a beer up to the roof and drank it. But it was okay, Mom, because we really didn't like it. Yeesh. The very next day, I got a call from his babysitter and her mother who were driving past the neighbors, and they told me that the 3 boys were standing at the end of the driveway shaking their junk at the cars driving by. When I asked Cardin, he admitted it and said the police had driven by too and shaken their finger at them. Cardin thought it was funny to disappear when you had your head turned away for 2 seconds and then not answer you when you called him. He would often hide in the clothes racks when we were shopping and not answer us, causing us some panicky moments. Another time, Mike had taken Tyler and Casey down to their baseball games at the middle school field. I was just going to load him up into the car and had bent down to tie my shoe and looked up. Oh, he was gone. I looked everywhere at home. We have ditches on either side of our house. I looked there. I called and called him. Again, no answer. And finally decided to drive down the road. And by the time I got to where the co-op is now, I could see this little blonde head bobbing up and down. He'd run down the main road in his cowboy boots to the game. I was never more relieved, but also so mad. Get in the car. Nicknames. If you were in Cardi's inner circle, you probably had a nickname. He came up with the craziest nicknames for everyone. His nicknames for me were Mamacita, Cats, Feisty Chihuahua, but mostly Schlubs, Schlubbers, and Schlubberstons. I don't know. He'd always walk in, "Hey, Schlubs." He always put others before him. He was an empath. He was the first to ask, "How was your day? How did you sleep?" He loved to help out. "What do you need me to do? I'm here to help." He was chivalrous. He would always hold out his hand when I was getting out of vehicle and say, "Madame's?" Or we'd be the first to hold out his hand to help me down a steep incline on a hike. Mike would say, "You got your mother card?" And he'd say, "Always." I miss his hand. Mike, you're going to have to step it up. His gifts were always so very thoughtful and well curated, and he was so excited for you to open them. We found a handwritten 5-year plan in his apartment when we were cleaning it out, and one of the things he had written down was, "Retire the parents, very important." He had his own landscape company in the last few years and was a hard and fast worker, but the thing he most loved was talking to his clients and the connections he had with many of them. One client said that she had lost many people in her life before, but had never screamed so loud when she had heard of Cardin's passing. She just loved him. Family, friends, teammates, and connections with people meant everything to him. He loved to celebrate every occasion, loved planning the meals or the appies, playing family games, and of course, as mentioned, family dance parties. He was always proud that his friends wanted to hang out at our house. Cardin loved music and was a great dancer. He always had a great playlist and would say, "Mom, you'll love this song." And I would. I told him when he was young that he had to be a good dancer because girls loved a guy who could dance, and boy, could he. We had many great dance parties. Cardin also loved to shop and was super fashionable and stylish from a young age. In many young birthday party photos, he was wearing a tie, dress shirt, and dress pants. He was the best shopping partner. Again, Mike, you're going to have to step it up. You got to get off that bench in the shopping mall and come with me. He was the one who said, "Mom, I think you would look great with pink hair." And so, of course, I went and did it. He had so many nice clothes. He would buy shoes and never wear them because he didn't want to get them dirty. He had many stylish watches that had no batteries in them, but he'd wear them just as part of the outfit. He was my fashion critic, excited about every purchase he made, whether clothes, accessories, or tools, and loved a good bargain just like me. He was so proud of himself a few weeks ago because he had mastered a double Windsor knot. Again, Mike could not do that today. And I'm thinking, sorry, Mike. And I'm thinking, when are you going to need that? You're a landscaper and we live on Salt Spring. One time in grade 4, I was bringing a birthday cake to his class and I thought I was looking pretty good. But when I got to the class, he shouted out, "You're not wearing that, are you?" Always the fashion police and never afraid to give his advice. Apparently, he was many girls' first crush or first boyfriend, even if it was for only 2 days. One of his friend girls said everyone had a crush on him because of his blonde streaked tips, nice clothes, and he smelled good, not like the other smelly boys. The scent of him and his favorite cologne, Armani Code, will forever linger in my heart. Here are some other fun Cardin facts. He made the best Caesars, and he learned this skill at a young age. His friends would come over and he'd ask if they want a Caesar, a virgin Caesar, and they would say yes, having no idea what he was even talking about. And then he was always so disappointed to find out they didn't like them as much as he did. Favorite foods: sushi, sashimi, crab, any seafood, French onion soup, smoked salmon dip, chicken gorgonzola, 1,000 leaves, and wonton wrappers. And if Mike and I were eating one of his favorites and he wasn't with us, we'd send him a picture just to bug him, and he would reply, "What a couple of dinks." Favorite snacks and candies: hard Jolly Ranchers, sour keys, as you've seen, pizza paws, but only the 3 cheese kind. Really hard to find on Salt Spring. Kimchi and duck poo cheesies, the bumpy ones. He was a lover of all movies and Netflix documentaries. If he could have made money from watching Netflix, he would have been a billionaire. Out of all his global travels, his favorite places to visit were Japan and Mount Baker, our home away from home. He was famous for some of his sayings on a daily basis, and I can still hear them in his voice. "The day's not over yet. Going to do that tomorrow. Just a little bit of a procrastinator." Or "Killing it." And then he'd always say to me, "You're not normal. You're a robot." The love I have for this beautiful boy is boundless. In his short time here, Cardin impacted so many people with his incredibly kind, loving, caring, and compassionate heart, his infectious laugh and amazing sense of humor. He was a loving son, grandson, nephew, and uncle, and devoted teammate and friend. His impact was far-reaching, and he made lasting friendships wherever he went and with whomever he met, and we made many friends through his connections. He truly was a card and the life of the party. I hope he knows how very much he is loved and missed. My heart will never be the same again. I miss every part of him. I'm sure Cardin is showing off his mad soccer skills, and that heaven is filled with a lot more love and laughter, and that heaven's gardens have never been more beautiful now that our handsome landscaper is tending to them. My wish and hope as everyone moves forward and returns to the lives and daily routine is to please remember or pause for a moment on occasion to hold this amazing human in your hearts, a laugh, a memory, a glimpse, and the joy you experience from the person you knew as Cardin. He would always say, "Mom, do you always have to have the last word?" And today, I wish I didn't. Love you forever, Cardi. My baby you'll always be, and you better have your seatbelt on. Bum, 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 bum. Love you.
I'm sure some of you remember some of those stories as we were giggling along, and so please do start thinking of some of those because we will be opening up the mic shortly. So think about some moments that you would like to share. I'll start. So I do remember that grade 4 cake. It was beautiful. I think it had a swimming pool in it. And I distinctly remember Kathy wearing a polka dotted dress, and Cardin was such a little shit. And all of us were so excited because we all looked forward to Cardin's birthday. It was the first birthday of the year, and Kathy would always show up with an epic cake. I'm talking like the inside was either, was like pool with like jello, or it was like a 3D soccer cake, like on the soccer ball cake on top of the cake. It was amazing. And most of the rest of us would show up with cupcakes for our birthday, but no, Kathy went to the nines. And so, as is evident by all the photos around us, Cardi was an absolute cutie. I don't know if it had to do with those frosted tips, but I think it's safe to say that most of the 1990 girls had a crush on him at one point, at least in elementary school. It may have been that he always looked sharp, decked out head to toe in Adidas, or that he smelled a little bit less than the other boys. Sorry, Jordan and Will, but he didn't stink. He was also a very playful charmer. Although he liked to look good, he was always up for dressing up silly. One of my earliest memories is of us both dressing up in dresses and heels, complete with Cardi's hair slicked back. We would then strut our stuff on the catwalk to the song "Oh Pretty Woman." Not many first grade boys would willingly submit themselves to being dressed up like that. But Cardi was always keen, especially if it made someone laugh. As is evident by the photos around us, Cardi's love for dressing up never ceased. So I'm wearing my silly heels for you today, Cardi. And I know that you wouldn't have hesitated to strap on heels again if I needed a laugh. I will forever miss your sparkling smile, your signature eyebrow raise, that giggle, and he never had a nickname for me, but my name always came in threes because he was definitely calling me out for something. So, Caitlin. I miss you, buddy.
Over the past few weeks, I've been thinking back on our nearly 30 years of friendship. Sorry. And the thing that keeps coming up, other than his laugh, is that he always made me feel safe, included, and I never felt judged by him. Always laughing with me and not at me with all my crazy antics over the years, and he witnessed a lot of them. One May long specifically, I was mortified that I'd broken the gnome while dancing with it at one of the, oh, he covered for me. I thought everyone knew. I looked up at Cardin with fear in my eyes at what I'd done, breaking the legs of the team mascot. Cardin was, as always, kind, instantly forgiving, laughing, and getting a wheelbarrow to solve the gnome's new mobility issues. Just one of the stories of just how kind and just warm he always was to all of us. As many of you, I will deeply miss having Cardin in my life, and will never forget his laugh and the amazing friend he was to me.
At this time, the family would like to open up the mic to anyone who would like to share a memory of Cardi. If you aren't comfortable coming up right now, please hold on to those stories and come and share them with us at the bonfire tonight, as the family would love to hear them.
Okay. Oh, yes, please come on up.
Hi, everyone. Sad day for us all. I'm Cal, and this is my wife, Whitney. And as Cardin would say, we were his second parents. We're the family that when he was doing all these beautiful soccer journeys with our son, Garrett, he would stay with, and when he was at Trinity Western, he actually lived with us for 2 or 3 years. And Mike and I actually built a room in my house so that Cardin would have his own bedroom. So it's still there today. So every time,
Wired really well, too.
yeah, the wiring all still works. It's just so many memories because when something like this happens to somebody so special and so young, you just flash back and you remember one thing, and then that leads into a million other things. And so some of the things that I was thinking of when we were sitting here today is already that we all wish Cardin was here, and the things that are said at a celebration are said too late for the one that's gone. But wouldn't it be cool if he could come and say a few words himself? And I'm sure that he would like to tell you about the time him and Garrett duct taped 40-pound beers to their hands in my garage and were whooping it up down there dancing with music. And they had duct taped this beer, and they got my younger son Jordan to help them duct tape the beer and celebrate at, I think it was a spring break or something. And of course, Cardin had to catch the ferry. And in our house, it was always a race to the ferry. And Cardin would always say, "I just need 5 minutes, big guy." Because my nickname was Big Guy. And we'd get him to the ferry, and he'd be sprinting to get on that ferry, and Kathy would be calling him, and "Where are you?" And then there was the year that I think it was U15, and Kathy was the team manager. So we always had a good room to party in, and Cardin bringing people together is, I think Kathy said, is true, because she brought our family together with his family and all of you here. And I know we've met quite a few of you, and it's been several years. And even though my uncle and aunt live on the island, we'd spend most of our time at Kathy and Mike's and hang out with them because Cardin brought us together. And the memories that we made, we'll never forget. We were up in Baker. Whitney and I were the lucky ones because we got to watch Cardin play, and he was a very fantastic soccer player, and we were lucky to get to see most games. And he did make us late a few times, but he always smooth-talked the coaches. So I just want to tell you guys how much we love you. We appreciate you. We're so blessed to be a part of your family. And yeah, Cardin wanted us to get back together. He texted me a couple of weeks before saying that he really missed us. We hadn't seen each other for a long time, and he really touched my soul. So Cardin, Cardi, as I called him, we miss you and love you. You'll always be in our hearts. Thanks.
Perfect. Yes, please.
Do you want me to hold you?
I have a really good memory about Uncle Chicken. So one day me and Uncle Chicken were in his old room, and he had this Lego soccer, and he was teaching me how to play, having a great time playing.
So there are a few other written tributes, but still encouraging anyone else who would like to come up and share. This is from K&J Byron. We are so very sorry for your loss. Although our paths didn't cross as much in the later years, we certainly enjoyed Cardin's company during his school years. Whether he was on the diamond, on the court, or on the pitch, we will always remember his athletic prowess and his passion for sports, especially soccer, and his trademark mischievous grin. Cardin was such a bright light.
Fraser H. We are still in shock at the loss of Cardin. I am still trying to come to terms with such a wonderful young man no longer being with us and his always positive outlook. My first memory of Cardin was at Portlock, when he tagged along with you both when you were both very active in the development youth of soccer on the island. Mike coaching the young boys included Cardin at the hydro field when I could see his potential at a young age. The GISS Scorpions of 2008, who traveled to the BC Provincial Championships and came within a whisker of making an impact, losing out in a penalty shootout to the eventual champions. The lasting friendships made by the team members, which were a result of Cardin's affable personality. Felix, Ricky, and Rodrigo kept in touch and returned to the island where they were always welcomed by Mom and Dad. Rosalind reminded me of Cardin winning a Lady Minto scholarship to attend Trinity Western University, where he made major contributions to the success of their soccer program. The pride we all had in his national appearance with the Canada youth team. His progression from being an apprentice landscaper helper to being an owner of his own business. I last saw him with Mike a few weeks ago in the yard at Windsor Plywood, where his always good humor made you smile as he helped out with the truck being out of commission. I came down the hill yesterday, still in shock at the news, and was brought to tears by the sight of his red truck parked in the driveway. The shock and the pain of his loss so suddenly cannot be measured, but you know that friends and the soccer community will provide support at this difficult time. Needless to say, we will miss Cardin for being Cardin. It has taken me 36 hours to try to come to the understanding of my pain. My pain is nothing to your tragic loss of such a great young man in his prime who brought so much joy and pleasure to so many people who interacted with Cardin.
Are you helping me? Oh, thanks, sweetie. I'm Kirby, went to high school, Cardin. I have two memories. One was anyone who's went to high school here and did sports, they have minibus stories. And one of mine was soccer trip. Doug Pearson took us down to this random spit that was supposed to be this hidden gem. I don't remember where it was. It didn't matter. And he gets out of the minibus and he starts walking along the beach and left all of us on the bus. Some of us got out to go walk the beach with him too. And I saw an opportunity and I got up out of my seat and I looked at the guys in the back and no one really caught on, but I looked at Cardin and he had that twinkle in his eye and he gave me the authority to go ahead that this was a good idea. So I hopped in the driver's seat and we did a couple donuts until Doug ran back from the beach. And we all had a good time, but I think Cardin had the best time looking back at him, laughing. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I think we would have been around 10 or 12. Do you need one? You can take one. And I was over at your guys' house, and Cardin and I were hanging out in his room, shooting the shit, whatever. And he had posters all over his walls, and he had this Blue Jays poster. And I remember saying to him that I really liked that poster. And I think it took him about half a second, and he was up on his bed. And he took the poster down, and he rolled it up, and he gave it to me. And I think that sums him up. Kind and unapologetically himself. I really loved and respected that about him. I miss him.
Hi, this is a bit off the cuff, so if it's a bit choppy, please forgive me. A bit nervous. I'm Kelsey. For those who don't know me, Kathy and Mike adopted me like a lost little puppy. In my 20s, Case, she and Tyler all took me in. I spent my summers here in Salt Spring, and I spent almost every celebration at their home, every celebration. And the dance parties were incredible, really amazing memories. And I met Cardin there too, and I basically became his adopted older sister. Can never replace Case, but it was a really special friendship that we had because I didn't have a big family, and so Cardin became my little brother. And we've stayed in touch all these years, and he's been through all these special occasions with me, with my wedding and my great uncle Roy's passing, always being there for me. He's a really special person, and we landscaped actually for Malcolm for years together after, and he lovingly made a nickname for me, so I'd like to share it with you. I'm originally from Calgary. He hated country music. I always tried to convert him. It just never worked. But he gave me the nickname Cowsey. And he just said it in such a way. I'm really sad I'll never be able to hear him say that again. It was Cowsey. Cowsey. It was just so funny. And I get mad a little bit, but it was just him. It was great. And I'll never forget that. We last spoke a couple months ago, and he was just checking in and saying, "How are you? I miss my fam jam." And, Cardin, I really miss you too. I wrote a song. I don't know if it's appropriate to do now or maybe at the end. Yeah, it's recorded by a friend of mine. Sometimes it's really hard to find the right words. So I hope maybe this song speaks to some of you in his memory.
Gone too soon, but your spirit remains. We gather round, reminiscing your ways. Through laughter and tears, we honor your days. A star on our island, in the fields where you played like a light. You shine through the darkness, and you brighten our skies. And we won't forget. All the memories are all we have left. You were gone too soon, but we hold on to you. Salt Spring through and through. And Ganges Road will whisper your name, and in our hearts you'll forever remain. Our brother, our friend, this island's where you're etched, woven in the fabric and carved into our sketch like a light. You shine through the darkness, and you brighten our sky. And we won't forget. All the memories are all we have left. You were gone too soon, but we hold on to you. So A love that feels so real. Your songs bring through and through. Oh, like a light, you shine through the darkness, and you brighten our skies. And we won't forget all the memories are all we have left. You were gone too soon, but we hold on to you. Songs bring through and through.
I don't know where you're sitting, Kelsey, but that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. She just loved you like a sister, you know? Well, you are a sister.
So this is from Vince. Obviously so shocked to hear this news the other day. Thinking of your family and just hope things can go as best as possible. On behalf of the league, the many friends he has formed over the years, be it from Gordon Head to Salt Spring and everywhere in between, so sorry for your loss. I was also at the BC Soccer Cup finals over the weekend and an announcement was made.
James, I wanted to say how saddened I was to hear about Cardin. I can't imagine what your family's going through. I wanted to share some memories I have of Cardin, and of course, they are soccer related. I always remember hearing about the kid from Salt Spring who played Metro a year above me and was a fantastic player. Adam Straith told me who he was and that he played BC team with him. My mouth almost hit the floor that he was playing 2 years up Metro, a special talent for sure. When that Metro team moved on, he came and played with my team, and right from the start, we connected over our love of the game and our humorous sides. Every ferry trip, if I was second to show up or it was him, we would walk straight up to each other and embrace and have a laugh. And we usually weren't far from each other over the day, be it on the bus, warm up, or sprawled out in the ferry cafeteria on the way home. I remember he left about halfway through the year to play men's soccer. And of course, I never told him, but I was depressed. Our team was great and had a lot of friends I still see today on it. But he made me that much better. A guy I look forward to playing with and goofing around while the coach wasn't watching. Plus, it didn't help that he was a fantastic player. After that, unfortunately, he became the opponent in all of our matchups. And what a nightmare that was. Man, he could play. Whether it was on those great Saanich teams with Cooper and Patty, or when he went to TWU. Those were always great battles on the field when I was at UVic. As always, he was a class act on and off the pitch, and it was always great chatting with him before and after the games, catching up or reliving some ferry trip. Myself and Adam were trying to come over on the 11th, but it was just not possible with our two young families, and I'm currently away a month away from handing in my thesis. I was absolutely shocked when I saw the news, and it didn't seem real. I'm so sorry for your loss, and as it's been said many times by many different people, the world is just a little less bright without Cardin in it.
I want to open up if anyone else would like to share anything. Give a moment. Okay.
Okay, so if my daughter can do this, I can do this. Hi, my name is Carolyn. I am Tyler's ex-wife, but we're a Salt Spring divorce. So I came down in the famous Mustang with his new partner, my daughter and Tyler. So yay. Cardin was like a brother to me. I always loved coming over to Salt Spring. He was my laughter. He would poke Tyler until Tyler went to bed, and then we'd stay up till 2 a.m. laughing about it. So when Tyler and I lived in Comox, Cardin came up to visit us, and it was very, very exciting. Cardin was coming up to hang out with us. We were looking forward to it for a very long time. Tyler bought a salmon pink shirt that was approved by Cardin. And we went out on the town in Comox, and those of you who are from Comox will find this hilarious. So we went to the first bar and got voluntold to leave because of the salmon pink shirt. Cardin was not okay with this. I wanted to leave and hide. I was terrified. And the two boys were like, no, we're not going anywhere. And then there were 8 others that were far larger, so we did leave. When we were walking home after a night, Cardin asked us what we had to eat back at our apartment. And we had cinnamon apple Cheerios, which I thought were very exciting because I never got them as a child. Hi, Dad. But that wasn't okay, so we decided to order Panago pizza, and to this day, we woke up blacklisted from Panago, and we are still blacklisted. So that is one of my favorite memories of Cardin. That was a great night. Anyways, I love you guys, and I'm going to try and walk off stage now.
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Jordan. Okay, sorry. My name is Cuddy. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Cardin and this amazing family many, many years ago. I can't even remember where and how. Sorry, I gotta ask a question. Did Cardin go down with us to Seattle to play? Okay, sorry. I did have the pleasure of coaching Cardin on that said team that was discussed there, the Metro team, where he played up 2 years, I guess. And, you know, one of the things that always stood out for me, because it took me a while, it took me like a couple of years to really sit back and reflect on it and remember. Thank you very much. I've never gotten a flower from a lady before. Well. Yeah, one of the things that really, it took me really years to reflect on it. But as many people who have been coached by me know that I'm a very demanding coach. I smile a lot. But I'm demanding, and I always insist that the players are there at practice. Now, it really baffled me how he made every single training Tuesday, Thursday, taking the ferry from Salt Spring Island, getting there on time. He would then catch a ride from one of the pierons to the ferry to catch I don't know if it was the last ferry or whatever it was, back home. And I guess then he would, if he missed his studies, he'd do his studies then. But he knew that if he didn't come to practice, if he missed one, he couldn't start. He started every game for me at the Metro level. I at this point in time, guys, I don't even remember how many years he played. But the dedication that this young man had was second to none. One point in time, he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Cuddy, what do I need to work on?" And I gave him an assignment. And 2 weeks later, he comes back and he looks at me and he says, "Cuddy, what else?" I said, well, what the heck? What do you mean by what else? Work on the thing, you know? But he didn't need to work on it because he went away and he did his work. He did his homework and he did everything that he needed to. He went on to make the provincial team and play some high-level soccer. And last but not least, I got angry with his mom, not you, Mike, his mom. Sometime later, I had an opportunity. Can I have her? Sometime after he'd grown a bit, you know, I had an opportunity to send a couple players to try out in overseas. And I was thinking, you know, yeah, I got two boys. I had Ben Green and a boy named Maddie Northrop. And I said, you know, if I could get Cardin, that would be something, right? So I called Kathy up and I said, Kathy, look, have a chance to send Cardin overseas to try out abroad. And she said, Cutty, where? I said, Germany. She said, oh, okay. Where in Germany? I said, well, it's in Jena. She said, Jena? I said, yes. She said, well, where is that? I said, well, it's sort of Eastern Germany. She said, oh, that's communist. Can you get a place for him in Paris or something? You know? But guys, listen, I just want to say, when Mike called me several weeks back and he gave me the news, you know, I mean, like I'm sorry, but I was in shock, just like you guys were, like anybody was. And it was painful because I'm sitting and saying, well, I'm 62, he's 30, why? How does that happen, right? But then I spent the next 2 days, I couldn't speak about it to anybody. I spent the next 2 days, my quiet time in bed and whatnot. And then I guess I started to laugh when I remembered him, because all that I remember about Cardin was how much of an impact he had on everybody that he touched, everybody he came into contact with. He was 2 years younger playing on my Metro team, and he started up the middle. He started either center midfield or center forward, and that is not something I give, right? He was a player who earned everything that he had. And I know that the business that he had started over here, I mean, when he told me about it, it just goes to show how incredible and how powerful a young individual he was, right? And he is. And so I just want to take this time to say thank you to Kathy and Mike and his family, right? And also to Cardin for having had the pleasure of spending that time with him. And although he might have been, I don't know, 12, 13 or whatever it was when I first met him, I look at him now as a friend, and I looked at him as a colleague, and I looked at him as an inspiration. It was a pleasure to have met him. You guys here on Soul Spring also did a fantastic job, because it doesn't only take a family, it takes a community to raise one individual. And all the friends that he had on the island here, his school friends, his teachers, and every one of you that he came into contact with, a testimony to who he became. And for that, I am greatly honored. And I want to tell Mike and Kathy and his brothers and sisters and the rest of the family and you all, he is an amazing person. He might be away from us, but he'll never be forgotten. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know that Cuddy was going to be here. I'm not sure I'm going to step foot on the soccer field later.
Okay, so I have a tribute from Ricky, who anyone who went to high school with us would know. He said, I'm heartbroken to hear about your tragic loss of Cardin. I want to send you my sincere condolences, and my thoughts are with you. I'm keeping the best memories of Cardin, not only his stunning soccer skills, but especially the amazing fun and nice person he was. I still remember the party at your house after we made it to provincials as one of the most happy nights I've ever had. I hope after all the sadness you keep his inspiring spirit to live a happy life. I'm sure he made the most of his. Thinking of you and sending all my love from Munich, Germany. Ricky. So we're going to wrap the tributes up there. Thank you for all your memories, for everyone who shared and who sent messages to the family. A celebration of Cardin would not be complete without talking about his lifelong dedication to soccer. His talent on the field was undeniable, but it's his relentless work ethic that truly set him apart. He didn't just rely on his natural ability. Instead, he put in the hard work and dedication required to reach the top of his game. From playing Metro Soccer 2 years above his age group to playing with Canada's national team, he was a marvel to watch on the pitch. The following is a CTV news clip from when GISS, our high school, went to provincials.
Breaking, we're back with more in sports. Salt Springs version of Bend It Like Beckham. Jason has highlights of the Island High School Soccer Championships. When A Channel News returns.
Staying on the soccer turf, the high school boys AA Island final, and it's not too often we get to showcase the athletic program of Gulf Island Secondary. Tonight is our chance. The boys from Salt Spring were filling the net. Perhaps inspired by Beckham's BC presence, Gulf Island's Cardin Davis, a one-man wrecking machine against Esquimalt, left-footed laser at Hampton Park. Gulf Island looking like Gorge with the black and white stripes. Davis displaying some fancy footwork here, the old pullback, and then weaves around the Dockers defenders, making it 2-0 Salt Spring. Wonder if Vikes coach Bruce Wilson was doing some recruiting today, because Davis was on fire. He knows how to finish from just outside the 18. The Gulf Islands, your AA Island champions, Esquimalt, St. Andrews also will make the trip to Burnaby for the BCs in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I thought we were going to be the underdogs in this, but it was definitely great to win it all.
Going into provincials, what are your thoughts?
Well, the St. Andrews team last year did, I think they got like second or something like that, and we were just as good as them, so I think we'll do fairly good.
I think both teams were a little gassed near the end there. You know, I think they really wanted to just get to the provincials, get home and rest. You know, they're really happy.
The hat trick in the first half, tell me about that.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other company, Audible. Audible pays me.
Okay, now that we saw Justin shirtless. So Cardin's soccer game took him to post-secondary at Trinity Western, where he met mentor and coach Mike Sheeran. Mike played a significant role in Cardin's life, both on and off the pitch. Regrettably, he couldn't join us today as he is coaching his semi-professional team in their first league game. But he penned a prayer written especially for Cardin from his heart, which we'll now share. God, thanks for today. Thank you for Cardin and his life, all the ups and downs. I thank you for his smile and his laughter and how easy it was to be around him. Help us to take all the good things that we have seen in Cardin and be inspired to live those out daily. Give us the courage to live in everything this day has for us. You are the author of today, and so we come to you for what we need. May we treat your creation with kindness and gentleness. Give us joy and peace today. In Jesus' name, amen.
When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not for long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that once we shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all a part of the master plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we know, laugh at all the things we used to do. Miss me, but let me go. Cardi's family has created a heartwarming slideshow filled with Cardi's sparkling smile, beautiful green eyes, and remarkable style. At the end, we'll all take a pause for a moment of reflection, then please stay in your seats until the toast.
This right here goes out to everyone that has lost someone they truly love. Check it out. Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block of dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime. The night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half the breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
I take, every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away.
We've changed the order a little bit, and we're doing the toast since we're all ready here.
That's what we do. That's what we do in this family.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Okay.
Yes, you can go get a drink.
Ready? So here's a toast for you, Cardi. Your passing leaves a heartache no one can heal, but your love and laughter leave memories no one can steal. When the cherry blossoms bloom in the spring, we lift our heads high and look up to the sky to remember our Cardi, our beautiful bright light gone too soon, the life of the party. We love you forever and miss you for always, so let's raise a glass and cheers to our sweet Cardi. Love you.
Love you, Cardin.
Love you, Cardi.
Love you, Cardi.
I know.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
What's that?
What's okay?
Cardin, 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 Cardin,
Cardin, Cardin, Cardin, Cardin, Cardin, Cardin, Cardin, Cardin.
Sing on. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate, we all appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing all the familiar faces and all the support that is shown for all of us. We really appreciate it. It's nice to see all the love that is here today. Thank you.
Please help yourself to refreshments. In a little bit, we'll see you barefoot and ready to crack Cardi up with a soccer scrimmage in the lower field.
She don't believe in shooting stars, and she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment, couture from the store's departments. You more like love to start shit. I'm more of the trip to Florida, order the hors d'oeuvres, views of the water straight from a page.